All right, what's up, everybody? We're back. So we were just putting together our list item, and we had the complete in the secondary action. List item secondary action. What we're going to do is we're going to move. We're going to move this up into our list item text under the secondary action. So we're just going to take this whole string ternary here and cut it and paste it as the secondary. And hit save. Of course, we've still got both our servers running. Right now, we've got two terminals. We've got our front-end React client running in one terminal here, and in our second terminal, we've got our server running on port 3001. That's our GraphQL and Express server. So once we add that secondary, now it's starting to look like how we want it. We've got our main to do, and then we've got whether it's completed or not underneath it. And everything's looking like a button that you can click on. Of course, nothing happens at this point in time, but we're working on that. So what we're going to want, we'll go back over and look at some of the material UI stuff. I found the example above is the one I like better. We were looking at the one below, which was just this list right here with the avatar, but I like this list right here with a checkbox, then another action on this side. So we're going to take a checkbox here, copy that, and that's going to go above the list item text. So it's going to go right here. So we're going to say checked. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to say checked is to do dot complete. It's false. It resolves to a Boolean. Tab index -1. I guess that just means that it's not going to be selected. And disable ripple. That's fine with me. We can save that, and we should see a checkbox now. So we've got a checkbox. And of course, nothing happens because we haven't wired up any function to it yet. And then we'll just leave that secondary action blank for now and work on our checkbox. So what we want to have happen is when we check it, we want to have this not completed turn to completed. That's our basic goal. So if we go into the documentation here for checkbox, see they've got an on-click handler on the list item. And the checkbox also they have an on-change function. So basically that on-click and on-change function are going to be pretty similar in this app, both clicking it. So let's put it on the checkbox because eventually I think we want to do a secondary action. Well, actually, let's take button off of the actual to do. Okay, so now all you can click is the checkbox. That's perfect. So we'll put the ripple back on. We won't disable the ripple. And then we're going to put an on-change function on the checkbox. And we'll call it this.handleChange. And then up here, we'll say handle change. This equals a function for now. So we disabled the ripple. Now we see that we took off disable ripple, so now we see the ripple. So we want to take a handle or an onChange function, and you can see they give you the signature. It takes an event and checked, which is a Boolean, so it lets you know if it's checked or not. And then you put a callback to that. So it's going to take an event and then a Boolean if it's checked. So how are we going to make it so that the value here is to do dot complete? So we need to make sure that we need to change the value of to do complete, and that's our query. So we need to change the value of what's coming in from our query, meaning we need to change the value on the back end. We need to make a mutation in GraphQL terms. We need to mutate an individual value of a to-do on the back end, and also have it be brought back to the front end so it displays that it's checked. Because every time we run this get to-dos query, we get a whole list of to-dos, which includes each one's complete property. So if we're going to update the back end, we want it to correspond on the front end. We want to be able to do all that functionality. So we need to make a mutation to complete a to-do. So before we go any further building out functionality, we need to build out the back end capabilities of our to-do. So if you go back to our backend files in typedefs, we have that create to-do mutation. But we also need another mutation called, let's call it complete to-do. And we need to pass in, basically we need to pass in the to-do ID. So we know which one to update the complete property on. And then we'll just say we return a to-do. Then we have to define that, as we do with all our mutations and queries, in our resolvers to-do.js file. So we've got this file, we got the create to-do. So what you do is you just put a comma after create to-do and say complete to-do. We'll call that an async function. That's going to take root. Now in this case, it's going to take that to-do ID. And then as always, we'll pass in the context of models. So we need to update that completed property on that to-do. So how we're going to do that is we're going to set it up like this. We're going to say filter equals underscore ID of to-do ID. Say const update equals, and an object would say set with a $sign in front of it, colon, set that to an object. Complete true. And then we'll say wait models dot to do dot find one and update filter update. So we're going to expand on this and maybe alter this a little bit more, but basically we're saying, okay, look up the to-do with the ID of the to-do ID and then set it to true.